Rape culture is scrutinizing a woman's dressing, her mental state, her motives, her sexual history. Rape culture is Rape culture arises when you pressure a man to score. He then feels he needs to score to prove a point to his peers, and he ignores the consent of the woman just for that score. Rape culture is thinking a man cannot rape his wife. Rape culture is normalizing rape. Rape culture is excusing it. All these are harmful. All these are harmful mentalities to possess because it leads to victims keeping quiet because they feel they will be blamed for such an unfortunate event happening to them. This is not healthy for anybody. Having this sort of mentality, spreading this sort of mentality is unhealthy and it's dangerous. Do we have to tell you, imagine if this victim is your daughter or your sister, before you can relate to them, before you can feel they are humans? That should not be the case. Rape victims are humans. Rape victims have parents. Rape victims are mothers. Rape victims are sisters. Rape victims can be your colleagues, they can be your loved ones, they can be anybody. A bit of sympathy is needed. Rape culture is a toxic one and it is time to change that. What is the impact of rape culture? It means victims remain silent. They don't cry out. They suffer in silence. And what happens when you suffer in silence? Your mental state crashes, depression, suicide. It's a whole large scale. Think of the bigger picture here. What happens to the rape victim when she is shamed into silence? What happens to the man that gets away with rape? He goes on raping. And what happens to the young ones who see things like they think it is okay and they carry on that mentality? And it's a circle with no end. When children see rapists getting away with this, when they hear what people have to say, when they experience rape culture, they grow up thinking it is okay to be a rapist. They grow up thinking it is okay to not listen to a woman's consent. Women also grow up thinking it is okay for a man to sexually abuse them because society normalizes it. You do not understand the amount of women that do not realize that right now they've been sexually abused because of how society has normalized that sexual abuse. Do you? Change needs to happen right now. Stop being a bystander. Stand up, speak up, believe people, and even if you do not want to believe them, give them the benefit of the doubt. Do not just ignore their claims because somebody somewhere sometime lied about being raped. This person is also lying. That's not how life works. Educate your sons. Let people know that rape culture is harmful. Education is needed. Support is also needed. Help victims know it is not their fault. All this is necessary. How do we stop rape culture? It's very simple. Stop objectifying and degrading women. One, you do not realize you're doing it when you do it, but you are. Let me give you an example. Look at the music videos of today. You see women being portrayed as some kind of meat to be devoured by men. That is the objectification of women. Call out people when they make offensive jokes too. A lot of you people see your friends portraying the whole rape culture mentality and you ignore it. You turn a blind eye to it. It's time to stop. It's time to call people out on their bullshit. Degrading comments. God. I do not want to count how many times in Nigeria I've been called an ashawo by some random taxi guy, someone just walking down the street, a stranger will just call me an ashawo. Nigga, from where? You don't know my story. Why are you calling me a hoe? That is degrading women and objectifying women and limiting them. Stop it. Bitch. Nobody is your bitch. Stop saying that word bitch, 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 bitch. All my bitches. Stop it. No one is your bitch. Seriously. And women, we also contribute because when men see us using such words, they think it's okay for them to also use it. If we respect ourselves, they will respect us. Husband, start respecting your wife. Stop degrading your wife. Stop disgracing them in front of visitors. Talking to them in such a lowly manner is wrong. It's disrespectful on so many levels, and you need to step up. It's time we all stepped up and respected each other. Men respecting women, women respecting men, women respecting women, men respecting men. How do you expect people to respect your wife or your girlfriend if you do not respect them? Food for thought. It is time for the government to step up, for the legislators to step up, for the judiciary to step up. People hardly get convicted for rape because it's always a he say, she say scenario. There are hardly any witnesses. And it is a very common occurrence for a rape victim. Immediately she's raped, she wants to clean off the evidence. So there's no evidence left. Is there even, we don't even have the equipment to gather the evidence needed to prove rape in Nigeria. Everyone needs to step up some way, somehow. Look what one of my subjects had to say with regards to proof. Imagine a scenario, two strangers come up to you, a man and a woman. You don't know them from anywhere. And the woman is alleging that the man raped her. Who are you more inclined to believe?
In this country, Nigeria, we have been hearing so much stories. Could you imagine when if he won the past Big Brother Niger, he won the Big Brother. A lady came out that he have a child for him, of which it was lie. But because some people believe and they hit on what they see and what they believe, so I believe in some situation they lie.
Actually, if you ask me that kind of question, I would say seeing is believing. Or if the woman have the proof, let her prove it for me to be true.
So if she doesn't have the proof, because in most rape cases, it's always a he say, she say thing. There's usually no evidence. So if there's no evidence, you're not going to believe her?
If there's no evidence, we believe we have in this country we have Muslim and Christian. We all believe Muslim believe in Quran, while we Christian believe in Bible. I will ask both of them to take an oath. Because I'm not there, I cannot support what I don't know. But through the oath, anybody that is wrong, God will judge the person.
Thank you very much. We do not have the equipment needed to gather evidence in rape situations. A rape kit, for instance. When a rapist goes to the local police station to report rape, they do not have rape kits. There's no evidence. It's always a he say, she say scenario. And this causes abusers to not be held accountable for their actions. Change needs to be made in all sectors. In the judiciary, judges need to step up. Legislators, the people responsible for making laws, need to step up. The government needs to step up. Everyone needs to step up. And let me just point out that churches are not left out of this. How do you preach forgiveness, yet you're also to be blamed for this victim blaming? You also contribute to rape culture. You also preach that women should watch what they wear. You not preach that men should control their sexual urges. Everybody, I mean everybody, needs to step up. Now, we also have people that blame victims for being in the situation they found themselves in. What were you doing there? What were you doing in a man's house so late at night? What were you doing in the club? Excuse me? What does that have to do with anything? House girls are raped in the homes they are meant to be working in. Daughters are raped by their fathers in their own homes. Students are raped in schools by their teachers. Choristers are raped by pastors. Location has nothing to do with this. So stop that. Stop that right now. Hear what one of my subjects had to say about location and its role in rape. I think a man can be raped.
A man can be raped in the sense that maybe you are in a place or maybe in a situation where you are not supposed to be. Because as I am now, I can't be in a club. I can't be in a club. I can't go to prostitution where they are gathering in, or maybe in a gathering. That is where a man can be raped. I believe that.
In Ghana, women who are just put to bed were in the hospital and men broke in and raped these new mothers. Were they seducing those men? Were they scantily dressed? Were they in the wrong location? Were they intoxicated? See what I mean? There's no excuse. There really isn't. This whole blaming the victim based on her dressing. Now let's be really practical. I personally, if I see a man with his dick whipped out, I will not feel the strong urge to rape him. I won't feel the strong urge to sexually harass him. So no. And I know a lot of you men out there can control your sexual urges even when you see a naked woman. You do not feel the need to grab her and rape her, do you? So why are we using this as an excuse? And FYI, do you know that people that are covered up are also raped? There's a high rate of rape reports in the Middle East, for instance, where they are always covered up. What do you have to say about that? Their eyes seduce them. Their ankles seduce them. Come on guys, let's be real here. Sometime this year, a story broke out in the Middle East that women, during their Hajj, they were raped in the mosque. What do you have to say about that? They were definitely covered up. So what was the excuse then? A story broke out last year that schoolgirls were raped by their fellow schoolboys. They were in their school uniforms. School uniforms are made to cover up girls. So what was the excuse then? And making these young boys think their actions were okay means they would go to the university and they would continue this. They will go to their matrimonial homes and they would continue this. So what do you think about rape culture? What is your opinion? Comment and let me know what you think, and also let me know what you would want me to ask my subjects the next time I go out to conduct my street interviews.